So today we're going to be replacing this nice bald tire. It's actually just cupped. There's still plenty of rubber left now. We're going to be replacing this Goodyear tire. Ooh, Kevlar. I did notice it does hold up better to the sun than some of the other tires. We're going to be replacing it with this 2021 tire from the junkyard. We have a whole set of them. Just going to put one on for now because the rest of the tires, I don't have time to do them right now. And there's still some life left in them. Who knows? So anyway, just gonna get this one off of here. I don't know if these are good tires or not, but you know, I got most of the crap cleaned off the rims. Exactly the same rims. This is the worst rim that there is. It's a little curb rash. So just gonna put that one on there for now. The way I like to do these ones on these Chevys, so get it in here right underneath where it crosses over, and I'll get it on the lower A-arm. That way I'm lifting the suspension and not the whole vehicle, because if you lift it, say here, you've got to lift it up high enough to where once the suspension sags, it eventually lifts the wheel up. So anyway, yeah, this tire is pretty destroyed because of the suspension problems. That, you know, the adjustment right here was flopping around, it was loose. So when you make a turn, the wheel would move. So anyway, this is what I like to do over here, and then I'll bust them loose and then jack it up the rest of the way. It's really simple. Once I have all the lugs loose, I'll take that and put it on the impact. It's just a little cheap Ryobi, but it'll save me a bunch of time. By doing this, you don't have to go up very high. You just want to be enough to clear the ground, and then that way you're not having to lift the tire up high. You want to work smart, not hard. I've always hated doing tires, especially when you're doing them all day long. So just get it in here and just zip them all off. I use this thing for everything. It's good for putting motors back together too, because it doesn't have a lot of power and it won't over torque them. 2, 4, 5. We've got a 6th one somewhere we got to find. So for those that don't know, the date of a tire is always on the tire. Usually on the inside they mount it. It'll be right where it says DOT, and it will be 2-digit number, which is the weeks, and then the last 2 is the year. So this tire was made the 19th week of 2018. So it actually looks pretty good sidewall wise for a tire that old. I've got tires on the other truck here that look like this, and they're the same year. See how this one says DOT but nothing is over there? That's because the date's on the other side of the tire. But the compound they make the rubber out of nowadays isn't any good, so that's just how it is. But see, we got this pretty cleaned up. So when the ball joints and CV axles and things like that leak, all that crap always ends up in here. And it's good to clean it out. If you get enough of it, you really actually could end up with problems. But anyway, we'll get this guy on here. I just couldn't even imagine going back to work in automotive, especially not getting paid $16 an hour. I mean, and my back is totally screwed. So when I do this all day, I have nothing but back pain. And usually what I'll do is I'll hold the wheel up flat, and I'll put one on like that before I start all the rest of them. So that way I'm not sitting here screwing around fighting a wheel that wants to flop around off the hub. Well, the problem we used to have is we used to have to fix broken wheel studs for Discount Tire when I worked at a local shop. They would put these in their impact gun, and they would start them with the impact gun and run them all the way in. I don't know if they were using torque sticks or if they were just, you know, what they were doing, but so what happened is they would cross thread them, and they'd just keep going and going, and it wouldn't go any further than like right here. And they just keep trying to force it, and eventually the impact would snap the stud off. And that's a big problem, especially in the front, because you can't change them real easily, especially on cars and things like that. They're really hard to change. So this thing will just basically barely put these tight. If you relied on this to tighten and left it, I'm pretty sure they would come off. I would say this thing probably tightens it to something like 30 foot-pounds, maybe even 15. So now what I do is I'll lower it, and then I'll go through with the breaker bar. Or if I'm at work, I'll use a torque wrench to make sure they're all even. So there we go. So had I found a tire like this at the junkyard that they had dismounted, it would have probably been maybe $30, $20 at best for the tire. And then it would have to be no older than, I think they're doing 5 or 6 years now. And then I would have to pay a minimum of 20 more to get it mounted. The place I used to go to doesn't do them for 20 anymore. They do them for 40. So, because they don't want to be changing tires. So if you buy tires from them, it won't be that much. But if you bring this tire in, and you bring the old tire in, you say, I want this tire taken off of here, I want this tire taken off of here, put it on that rim, they're definitely going to charge you $40. So then you paid $40 plus, it's probably $35, $40 for this tire. It has to be in really bad shape to be a $20 tire at this local junkyard. Since this is almost brand new, they probably would charge you closer to $50. So let's say $50. So you just spent $90 for one. And so this was $200, basically $198 and some change for all of these tires in this kind of condition, all on these kind of rims. And like I said, this is the worst rim right here. The rest of them are actually in better shape. None of them really have any scratches or anything. I do have the center caps for this vehicle, but we took them off because we were changing tires frequently, so lift them off. So I just need to go check the tire pressure. Gotta bring my air hose out here. It'd be nice to have a garage in the front, but it's in the back, so that's why it's a ham shack instead of a garage. So anyway, I'm gonna get these aired up, do something with that, and we'll catch you guys later.